You are listening to the Interview Podcast,
where we interview the real you.
We discover our guests' passions, skills, dreams, and wisdom they've learned along the way.
Get ready for some friendly banter,
Controversial hot takes.
Christian pickup lines, and riveting conversations.
Let's dive in.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 43 of the Interview Podcast. This is an exciting time. Cue the claps from all our audience that no one knows who they are yet.
That's right, mystery guests.
But we're really excited. I am back in the studio from Florida. I think I've been back every 2 weeks since I moved. So thank God for Allegiant flights and dentist
God
appointments.
bless 'em.
So I am back just for this episode. I haven't moved back or anything yet. I'm still in Florida, living there, really loving it there, but excited to be able to come back and do an episode tonight with some really, really fun guests. But before we get into that, I'm going to throw it over to Derek for our sponsor for this episode.
Fantastic. It's great to be back with you here. We are so grateful for this episode and for our sponsor for this episode. She did not want to be named. She wanted to be anonymous, so we will respect that 100%. What she did want to do is give a shout out to the child sponsorship program that we do at Gospel Express. So what that is there's children in Uganda. They get sponsored through us, and basically through us. Well, I am a part of Gospel Express. It's not just me doing all this. Trust me. But they get sponsored through Gospel Express. That puts them through school. That provides food, schooling, yes, education, which is the same thing. It does a lot for them.
Schooling and education.
Schooling and education. There's a difference.
They go all in.
School,
okay?
Life skills. They get the full. Yeah, they get the full education there. So that is $360 a year per kid. That's what that is. If that's something you're interested in doing.
$1 a day.
Yeah, it really is. It's $1 a day. So, But granted, I know there's different people that
girl math and real math.
Math whiz. I know there's different people that offer programs and different stuff like that. So we're just one avenue to do that. If you're interested, do it as a group. There's a group of us from here that I'm a part of that we do one. We sponsor a child over in Uganda. I've been able to meet him a couple times. His name is David. It's a pretty cool thing. So if that's something you're interested in doing, we sponsor over 250 kids through Gospel Express, which is really awesome. So we've been blessed to have the connections. We have connections with pastors over there. So if that's something you're into, there'll be a link in the description that you can go. You can see the children. You can see if you want to sponsor one. You're welcome to that. So, yeah,
awesome.
That's
all
there.
Thanks for our anonymous sponsor.
And
you know who you are.
I know. God bless you. Bless you.
Amazing.
And if you want to sponsor an episode sometime, get a little shout out or a not shout out, a no name shout out. You know where to go.
Yeah.
You know where to go. It's only a Benjamin. It's only $100. That's all it is.
Yeah, $100 gets you so much notoriety.
Benjamin
on the
is a
podcast.
great friend. Yes,
yeah.
It really does. Really does. So
that's a pretty good word.
Notoriety. Notoriety. Yeah.
Is that fitting for what I just said?
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, you can talk now.
Oh, okay. I have so many questions.
Okay. Well, Derek's going to say who is on this podcast right now.
Well, yes, we were just going to talk a little bit about how this all came about. So we meet, there's a bunch of us around this area, North Carolina, that meets. We're meeting now once a week, and it's a Bible study group that really came out of the Revivalist Ministries life groups. Mm-hmm. We went through their book list, started doing that, and it kind of just expanded from there. So we get together, we just hash it out. We just chat. So we're like, hey, why don't we get together?
Yeah, Bible study group's a loose term, I feel like, for what actually happens. There's good Bible talk, but just also life discussions and good things. And that's one thing I miss. I'm not here for the Monday night get-togethers anymore.
Yeah, it's gotten a little Bible-y.
I
started actually reading
more
the Bible.
Okay, so I left. It got spiritual. I like to hear that.
Right.
So,
right.
whoops.
We didn't feel you could contribute
The ridiculousness
much.
has left the room.
Just kidding.
No, for real. I do miss it. It's such a good group of people that gets together and just, talks and enjoys each other's company. So Derek had the idea to do what we're doing right now.
Jen was on board, so we're like, hey, here we go. So we want everyone to say hi. This is, most of you are familiar. There's a few new faces, but most of these people we have had on the podcast before. Mm-hmm. So if you would, we'll go around starting right here to my left and just say hi, tell us your name, and any fun fact. Just give us a fun fact. Just say hi. Just, you got it.
Hi, I'm Cassandra. Fun fact. Get myself a haircut this afternoon.
Wow.
It looks good.
On her own.
Well done.
So
Talented girl.
Well done.
Hey, good job. I'm Dakota Bontrager. I was on the pod. What episode? That was a while ago
man,
now.
I don't even know, brother.
I don't know, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't have a fun fact, but I do have a question.
Oh.
So we're trying to keep it secret about our identity on this, while you're going through the intro and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
Are our names on the title? Like, do we?
No,
This one would probably just be
it will
small
be
group.
what we're going to talk
Probably
about or
a
something.
got you.
So yeah, so it will be a true mystery.
Because I'm pretty sure I watched an episode and I saw the picture. I recognized the guy.
And we act like nobody
It's
knows
a
what.
secret. It's a secret until they're introduced. And I'm like, oh, I think I know who it's going to be already.
We make rookie
Yeah,
mistakes.
whoops.
We still make some rookie mistakes. So yes, thank you for your valid question.
Forgot about
Dakota.
that.
Yeah,
That the
thank you
picture's
for
on
answering
there.
it.
Oh well,
yeah,
for
it's
those
kinda-
people that are blind and go on, that's for them.
right?
that a
Our
secrecy?
massive. Yeah. Never mind. Next.
My name's Heather Schleybaugh. Was on the podcast before.
Yes.
I have no idea what episode.
She was actually you were on I think one of the single digit episodes.
Yeah.
Like it was
early on.
Early
under
days,
10.
the
Yeah.
early years.
It was a long
Way
time
back
ago.
I
when.
remember those years.
Yep.
Yep.
Nobody knew what was happening.
Good to have you back.
It was a wild west.
Go back and listen to Heather's episode now that you're all here.
And Dakota's. Yeah, it's true. Yes.
My name is Lisa Otto. Excited to be here. I moved here about 3.5 years ago from Flatland of Illinois.
Oh,
So
Wow, that is a fun. Is that a fun
call that
fact?
out.
Scary fact.
My name is Tony Homuth, brother to Cassandra over there. And fun fact, the sun burns 4 million tons of mass per second.
Hold
So
it.
there's Tony for you.
If you want to know what
you'll be
Tony's going to bring,
I thought it was
it's
interesting.
fast.
Tony summed up in a comment.
Oh, thank you, Tony.
Yeah,
that was
that's it.
awesome.
Okay.
And
That's all I
Tony's
got.
been on too. You can listen to his
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
episode.
Tony was on.
Yeah, it's been quite a while ago.
Yeah, it was
That was a
great.
good episode.
I'm Kara.
Nice and close, Kara. You got
Oh,
it.
sorry.
Yep, yep.
I'm Kara.
Yep.
And fun fact, oh man, I teach second grade, but that's
Yeah, that's fun.
That's
it is very fun.
Oh,
Yeah, some days probably.
Fun fact: I had a student ask if we were talking about St. Patrick,
okay.
and they asked if St. Patrick was from Greenville,
Our local town.
our local town.
Well, green.
I mean, it is green.
Honestly.
Everything's green.
Oh, that
so.
does make sense. I
Kara's like, oh,
didn't
that's
actually
why.
didn't piece that together, but I
Honestly,
thought that was really funny. They say really funny things.
It is funny, but
so-
also very smart.
Yeah.
Props to
Yeah.
your second graders. Hold it.
They're
God bless
smart
them.
kids.
Future Einsteins over there. So Fiddle's Academy.
Yeah.
Raising the next generation.
That's right.
And
Love
Kara's
it.
been on
Love it.
twice before. So this is a three-peat for Kara.
Yeah. Wow. Some kind of an award.
Yeah, she was our very first guest.
That's
yeah, so
true.
she'll always have that.
We weren't even sure if we were going to air
those
that
creds.
one.
Yeah,
but we just
that was
went
our
for it. and
our
we-
practice episode became our episode
It
one.
was great. We
So-
owe a lot to you, Kara.
Thanks,
really
Kara.
do. Really do. So,
Anytime.
All
that's
right, what a
great.
good squad. So that's the group. I'm Jennifer.
Yes, I'm
Derek.
Derek. Yes, you know us. Been here,
Yeah.
done that. So it's really good to be here with you guys. So we're just going to jump into some of these questions, and there's a good chance the next couple episodes you'll hear discussions from this group
Mm-hmm.
is what it's going to be, because we're going to go over a lot of stuff here today, and then you'll hear different tidbits, snippets, episodes from our discussions here tonight. So that's what's going to happen. So
Yeah, you guys will like it so much. You'll be like, oh, next episode, I gotta have it.
right, I
Gotta
can't
have it.
wait.
I gotta have the
wait.
small
Or they'll
group.
just show up at our Monday nights.
Yeah, yeah.
True.
Don't tell them
Yeah,
where you
don't
meet.
tell
Oh
them
yeah,
where we're
yeah,
gonna
all
be.
right. That's
It's
a
secret. It's a secret public place.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, right, exactly. Cool, guys. Well, for the first topic for the night, we are going to talk a little bit about singleness. Now, most of us in here are
Boo.
single. Jen, don't need get that negative Nancy out of here. Come on now. There's so many good things about being single. There's some tough things too, but this is maybe a little bit of a different angle or flavor that we're going to talk about today. So we're all single in here, besides Kara. Kara is in.
Way to go, Kara.
Kara
Yeah.
is not
Yes.
single. It's exciting. We like Daniel.
Yeah,
He's great.
That'd be
So-
cool if Daniel.
I
could
actually
be
haven't
here.
hung out with him that much. You should bring him around.
It's coming Monday.
Oh,
That's exciting.
So
right. Man,
be here.
I'm giddy. I'm
we,
excited.
we meet on weekdays.
Right.
He works stuff. We
Yeah.
meet on weekdays. So that can
Yeah.
be tough.
That's fine.
But yeah, good guy.
Okay. Great. So, kind of what got me to thinking about this subject, and we've talked about that with different guests. I think sometimes for us that are singles, and most of us here are between, Dakota's the youngest one here, I think. So we're talking like mid
How old are you, Dakota?
I'm 22.
22. Okay, so Dakota's
So
the
22 to
youngest.
31.
22 to 31, 32, something like that. That's our range ish.
Say that.
That's our range. That's our
28.
range.
How old are you?
Last time we
32.
checked. So
Oh,
yeah, so
okay.
that's great.
33 soon.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Great
Great age.
Great.
Whole 10 years between
Wow.
between
Yeah,
us, right?
this is a 10-year gap.
Right.
10-year
That is
age gap.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Dakota's an old soul, though.
Yeah.
That's true.
I go to bed at 10:30.
Oh.
That's late.
Which is that's pretty late.
I was like, oh, like a young
Yeah, we're
person?
all like 9.
Yeah.
For people like my brother, oh my word, I was just working with him this last week. He goes to bed at like 12. Who knows?
Every night.
Wow, that's crazy.
Impressive.
Young kids.
Yeah.
I remember those days. So anyway, so I had a friend who sent me this article, and he was just talking about how different things. I think sometimes when we're approached by people, we're approached kind of this thing of where it's like sometimes your life almost doesn't start until you like get married. Or people ask you questions like, hey, when are you going to get married? Or when is this going to happen? And just kind of coming at it from the angle of where we've kind of maybe elevated this thing of marriage. It's a fantastic thing. I'm not diminishing it in any way. But I think also a lot of people, when they ask the questions of like, hey, how are you doing? Are you thinking of getting married? What's going to happen? Maybe there's a better question. Because you tell me, but most of us have walked through either some kind of relationship where we've went after or pursued something and it hasn't worked out. Cassandra, do you want to say something?
Cassandra is loaded. She's actually married and we didn't know it.
Oh, psych.
No, Tony just looked at me. I'm like, never been in a relationship, so can't count me in there.
No. But like, there's been someone that maybe
Talkingships?
that's
Yeah.
pursued or
Situationships.
Yeah.
right, situationships are different things. So anyway, so I would just love to hear you guys' opinion of like, hey, what are some things of like, hey, this would be a better question to ask me as a single person about like my life, how my relationship status is going. I think people mean well, but they also kind of make it sound like you're doing something wrong.
It's kind of just a question to ask, though, I think, in our culture. I don't think people think about it. They're just like,
Well, I think they
hey,
think
so
they
are you
should think
married?
about it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I'm just saying their intention, but the intention behind it is fine.
Yeah.
But it's like, is it something that people should think differently? Because I say it whenever when someone's dating, you know what I ask them? So, you guys think you're going to get engaged soon? You know, it's like you always ask the next step.
Sure.
It's more cultural than I think it is intentionally trying to point out that, oh, you're single. So, yeah, it is. It should something be different with that?
Yeah,
Or is it
what
just
should we
okay?
change? What should
Yeah.
we change is kind of the question. Like, what's a better way to be asked the question? Or if someone really wants to know the journey or what's going on, what should they ask or what should they say? Or should they ask? Maybe they shouldn't ask. Far away. Cassandra.
I think it's totally appropriate for people to ask whether you're married or not. Because, like, I mean, if you're married and you have a family, that's a huge part of your life.
Right.
But there's absolutely nothing wrong with being single. I like to live my life to the fullest. Not saying I want to be single for forever. But, you know, like, I don't know. At the same time, I'm like, you know, it could happen in 2 years. And that means I only have 2 years of my independence left. I'm going to live it up, you know?
She's more like, I'm going to milk every minute of this singleness.
Yeah. No, that's good. It's true. Okay.
I don't think there's anything wrong with asking that question, but I think it matters the way it's asked, and it can be insensitive. But I think every stage of life has something like that, to where there are questions that are asked that can come across as insensitive, and it's mostly just because the people asking the questions don't know what it's like to be in those shoes, or they haven't been there in a long time.
Yeah.
And I don't remember when it was, but I remember like realizing that I need to not ask young married couples when they're planning to have children. Because it is crazy how many young couples can't have children or struggle having it, and it's really hard for them to do that. So each stage, I think, comes with those difficulties, and so I think maybe a better question would be asking what they want for their life, or what they're passionate about, or just taking an interest in them as a person and not their relationship status.
Or even just saying, so, like, what's life looking for you? What is life looking like for you right now?
Sure.
Like, if you haven't seen someone in a while, you know, it'd be like, so how's life? Like, what things are going on? Because
What's
if you
exciting?
are dating, that's the window for you to share that with them. And if you're not,
Yeah.
you can just share what you are doing. And it's not a specific, pointed question about your relationship status. But again, I think it's fine to ask, too. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just kind of not fun to answer it all the time the same way.
Right. I
Been
mean, if
answering the
someone
same way
asked
for a long
me,
time.
like, why are you single? I'd be like, you tell me.
You're like, I have no idea.
I'm trying to figure it out too.
They might
right?
though. That
like,
could
look
be a
at me.
scary question.
Hey, that's good. That's feedback though. That's feedback
right.
though.
That's
Yeah.
I did always appreciate when, like, if you know somebody that you really like that's single, and you know another person that you really like that's single, and they don't know each other, being like, hey, I met someone, or I know someone, would you want to meet him sometime? Like, I was in a place where I was very open to, like, oh, hey, like, you know a good person, I'm a good person, let's go on a date.
Yeah.
And so if you actually genuinely know good people that just haven't met. Like, in my opinion, I wouldn't have minded if someone would have like
Introduce
Been
you.
an advocate
introduced you.
for
Like,
you, or
what's the problem, with that?
Yeah,
So
at our
figure it
age,
out.
I think we're all pretty good with that.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty
I'll
open.
meet anybody,
Tara's like, I'm wide open.
wherever.
I agree. I
Yeah.
totally agree, because often your friends can see things in you and other people that they'd be like, hey, I know this person, I know this person. I think that's great. Be an advocate. Be an advocate.
It's also really hard to
happy.
meet people older. Like, as you get settled into what you're doing all the time, like, you just don't meet people as often as you did when you're younger, too. So
That's fair.
it's a very good point.
Especially people that are your age in the stage of life that you're in.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the pond is obviously way less full of fish when you're in your 30s
Dadgummit.
or older 20s
Smaller fish.
because a lot of them have gotten married. So you're limited to weird people that haven't got married because of
I just want to say we're also in that pond.
Yeah, so are you in the non-weird
Some of them
pond?
are a little bit like, there's a reason you're single. And then the other ones are like,
Oh, boy.
But then to find the good ones
Oh, boy.
is tough because there's not as many. And where are you going to meet them organically? It's harder to do that because often if you're at your workplace, there's probably not as many people that are single and older. And if you clean houses, well, I meet no one. So tough.
Tough.
Every time the trash truck goes by, I like run out. I'm like, just in case.
Just in case it's who God has. The trash man.
Whatever I got to do.
Appreciate your openness there, Jen. Holy, that's wild. I don't know. I think it is something about our generation too, and I don't look at this as like, it's a little bit like you said. It's like when you hit that stage, there's almost a stigma of like there's almost something wrong or you're not with it, and I just think that's so not true. Because the perspective I've thought about is, okay, if you get married young, which is fantastic, but think about the single years you have to serve the Lord, to travel, to like do things that is much harder to do when you have a family, when you have kids, when you have responsibilities. If you get married at 2021, you have like 75-80% of your life in that, which is fantastic. But your single years to do things that really, like, it's really short. It's really short. And so I like lean into that. Like, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay to still want the relationship, still do that. But, I think we've just viewed it so differently of like your life kind of starts when you get married. Like that's your like responsibility. I'm like, eventually, like, sure, but it doesn't have to always be on the timetable that our parents did it or that we did it, or that they did it. So
What do you guys think of the question when people ask, they ask you, oh, so are you dating anybody? And you're like, no, I'm not. And then they're like, man, why not? Like, how could you not have somebody? What do you answer that? Because then you're like, well, I don't know, maybe I'm weird, or like maybe something's wrong with me, or like they ask a question that you feel like then you have to explain
yourself or something.
yourself to them. I'm like, I didn't ask a conversation. You brought this
came
up.
up
I'm
to me.
fine.
Brought it up.
Like they bring it up, and then you almost feel like you have to make, like, they almost immediately feel a little bit bad for you, like, oh really, like, and then they try to butter you up by saying, hey, I can't imagine why you don't have somebody, like trying to make you sound like, oh, you're so great, you should, but yet you don't. And so then you almost like, no, it's okay. Like, I don't know, it just puts you and me in a position of having to almost make them feel better for them feeling bad for me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm just not into doing that. But what do you do in those scenarios when you're asked those questions? Like, what do you respond?
I don't even really get that anymore, and maybe people
I was going to
have
say the
just
same. I don't
came-
get asked that very
Yeah,
often.
I think maybe people just come
Maybe
to
it's 'cause I'm
understand.
They're like, you're
They understand why they don't even ask anymore.
My aunt asked me that like 3 weeks ago.
What was your answer?
Same
Yeah.
question. I don't know. I think I just brushed it off and said kind of I don't know, but she was like, well, why not?
Yeah.
know?
But then you're like, you're almost in this position of trying to explain, like, I don't know, I'm amazing. Like, either that
I know, you
or
tell
you'd be
me.
like, I don't know, I mean, I do have that bad habit that
I did
have
I did have a client that I do some work for. They love me and took me out for supper one time, and
nice.
we were having a good time. And the lady was like, "Man, where were you when our youngest daughter got married?" I was like,
Wow.
"We don't like,
Wow,
we
shade
hate
on
our
her
son-in-law."
Whoa, they hate their son-in-law.
That's tough.
Hopefully they're
That is
not
pretty
listening.
crazy.
Yeah, it's all right. Love you guys. Bless you and your son-in-law there. Hold it. That is tough.
Yeah.
That is tough.
I don't get asked it very often. So I don't, but I do get the singleness thing as far as like not being able to necessarily relate to everyone. Like, especially because like the older you get, like a lot of your friendships are moving in that direction and have families, have kids. And like you relate on different topics, probably like stages of life, but not necessarily that one. So there is kind of a gap that needs bridged, I think, consistently. And it's very easy to feel on the outside of that. I don't necessarily have an answer to it, but I would say I probably feel that part of it way more than I would feel like awkward or because I actually don't mind the conversations.
Right.
Like, bring it up. I'm
Yeah.
happy to talk about it. Like, I'm not sure why people wouldn't be, but I'd probably relate to that more.
Well, I was just going to say, like, I feel like the question is kind of based off of that thing going to what Derek referred to earlier of, like, marriage is what you should achieve in life. Like, that's where you should get to. You know, we celebrate our friends getting married around us. They have kids around us, whatever. We celebrate the marriages. We celebrate the kids. We celebrate all of their steps of life. Like, singleness can be celebrated. Like, instead of it,
That's
like, how
good.
can we fix it? How should this be fixed? How can I help you find the right man or the woman? Just how can I celebrate you for where you're at right now?
That's good.
And not just like, oh, well, we should move you on to the next step. But
Yeah, and you don't get
We'll get you in the club. We'll
We're
get you in the
having-
club, then we can
Yeah.
party. Yeah.
let's just
That's true. Maybe
celebrate
every
it right
like
now.
every other year there should be like a singleness
You
celebration.
know, I was gonna say, how do
Like a
you? What
festival.
does that look like?
Yeah,
Celebrating
singles fest.
singleness. That just sounds like
we should start a day on that.
That's
It's a national holiday.
Let's maybe rework
For some reason,
that
the word
name.
fest and festival have two different, really big
There's
connotations
Singles
there.
Awareness
Single
Day.
fest.
Yeah, Singles Awareness Day. I
No,
gotcha.
that
Yeah.
sounds
I
different.
feel like that sounds sad.
Yeah, maybe we don't call it that. Yeah. Well, here's another question. Do you guys, let's say you have your friend group or people you grew up with, let's say there's married couples, they're hanging out. Do you guys like to be invited along to like stuff they do, like over to their house or out to eat? Or are you guys fans of
100%.
that? Not fans of that? There's kind of different schools of thought where it could highlight your singleness. And yet also, like, why are we not just okay with, these are my friends, I'm going to do stuff with them? What do you guys think?
Oh yeah, I'm all about that. I love
I would
married
agree.
couples and I love kids too. So like even if they have kids, like there was or that new young adult chat that got started. You know, a bunch of us went down to Greenville, and there was a young couple that were planning to go, but then they just like kind of backed out because they had kids and they didn't want their kids to be in the way. You know, and I'm like, man, I love kids. Like, bring them along. So, and I don't know. I guess some kids can be worse than others too. So.
Like some-
I'm the opposite camp. I'm like, oh, you're bringing your kids. I'm not going.
It's like I'm not coming. Oh my.
No,
Depends
but
on the kids.
I think it doesn't matter what stage of life you are in. You can still relate with people because they're people, and like even old people. I like hanging out with old people too.
I'm with you.
I'm not far from there, so
Tony.
I know. You know, it's bad when you get to the point where I have more in common with an 80-year-old than I do with anybody else around me.
You're like, why am I this guy
Why
right
can
now?
I connect with you right
Yeah.
now?
Why am I Galen Overhaul
how
right
are
now?
your knees
What is
feeling
going
this
on?
week?
You're like, oh, you're single too?
You're single, want to go to bed at 8 and hurt when you wake up? Yeah, that's me.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. No, I agree. I like going along for stuff, and for me, I'm super chill because it's about relationships, not necessarily that you have to be in the same stage as things. So,
I will say, if you do that though, because I also have experience doing that and going with, let's say, two of my mom friends, and then they talk about birthing babies, and you know, they're or like just something they've
Sure.
gone. I'm serious. That is a huge topic. Once you do it,
Yeah.
and it's just like, oh man, never been there, you know, and so it can feel highlighted. So
Yeah.
I would encourage too, like if you are going out with someone who hasn't gone through what you're gone through, like do be like, hey, so how are
aware
you
of it.
doing?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
how are you feeling if you are single, or what's life looking like for you? Because it can feel like, oh,
Yeah.
I've not done that,
can
and I
highlight.
literally can't put input into this conversation.
right.
And then it does highlight what you already maybe feel, like feeling like the odd man out
Right.
or not feeling connected.
Right.
It would highlight that.
So maybe just don't talk about that the whole evening, but it's not
Yeah.
like you can't. Yeah,
can't,
right.
yeah.
I mean, touch on it, but just don't dwell there for too long.
yeah.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
I think two words that come to mind just overall when it comes to this conversation is awareness and intentionality. I think if everyone is just aware of
Yeah.
the people around them and think before you speak, not just married people to singles, but single people to married people and to people with kids. Think about what are you asking them and what's your purpose in it and how is it coming across? Like what might they be feeling or going through? Be thinking about that. Be aware. Be aware of what people around you are going through and what stage of life they're in, and then be intentional. And in the friendships that you have, like I have very good friends that are married with kids. I'm neither of those things, and the connection is still really strong because I try to be intentional with asking them about their marriage and their kids, and they're intentional about asking me about my job and my passions and what I'm doing next, in the next season of life, whatever. It's like you take an interest in the things in that person, even if you don't have it in common. And then you're also aware of, okay, I'm not going to talk about my marriage for the entire time we're together. Let's talk about other stuff too. Yeah. So I think if you have both those things, and if everyone would have that in the entire culture, I think it would take care of most of the awkwardness or the questions that no one knows what to do with.
I think in like for ourselves and for others, we need to try to maximize where we're at instead of where we would like to be.
Good word.
And so, yeah, instead
Good
of
word.
like
You
for
can drop that mic now, Tony. be a great. I mean, don't actually do it. That's expensive. But
It's already
He already did it
somebody
once.
already
busted in.
He was practicing.
it's got some
Yeah.
dents in it.
Yeah, it's okay.
But like,
Broken
yeah,
and
for married
beautiful, but-
couples, rather than trying to help somebody, get married or whatever, there's nothing wrong with that. But more than that, help them maximize themselves as a person where they're at. And
it's good.
And likewise, it's harder for us to maximize young married couples where they're at because we don't have the experience. But older couples with more experience can help maximize younger couples with where they're at. So yeah, and I think for ourselves, like, and I'm preaching to myself because too often I get caught up in where I want to be and beating myself down for not being there yet instead of maximizing myself right where I'm at.
Yeah. Wow, Tony, that was
Preach that out.
goodness gracious. Put that on repeat. Listen to that every morning. That'll fire you up.
I think also though, like marriage sometimes for young married people, I think they're actually lonely. And because they're expecting their spouse to be everything for them, and then they start figuring out that like I've cut out a lot of my friends for this one person, and I need more than this one person, And so I think it's as single people, like don't just
We
let
can
our
pursue
friends
Turn the
Just-
tables.
Yeah.
That's right.
Ooh.
Reverse pursue.
That's a very good point.
Bam.
Yeah.
Loneliness.
I'm coming over every night. I'll be there. We're hanging out. Well, it's a little too much pursuit.
Sorry, you had a date. Let me come.
I'll chaperone. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a very
yeah.
good point. I don't think
Yeah.
we think that marriage would solve the loneliness or the sadness or whatever. And often, if that's a part of what you're experiencing as a single person, you're going to take that right into marriage. A person isn't meant to fill those things anyway. So that's something. And I think what you were saying, Tony, a little made me think of recognizing, like talking with people, having conversations with them about more than what their stage of life is. Just because someone's a mom and has kids, taking time and talk, how's mothering going? How's your marriage going? It's like, you also have to remember, like, how are they doing as an individual? And realizing that you can connect on a humanity level and on what is Jesus doing in your life right now personally, apart from your marriage and your children and apart from my singleness. It's like you can have conversations where you can connect deeply in areas of like your relationships with Jesus that has nothing to do with all the outside things that you're experiencing. It actually is between you and God. And so sometimes it's like people aren't just what stage of life they're in. It's also like getting deeper with them. And that bridges all the gaps of life stages. So I want to be more intentional with that, not just being like, oh, so you how's the kids? How's mothering? Like, tell me how that's going. It's like, how are you? Like, when it's just you as an individual. And that, I think, has really deep connection to it.
I had that an experience with that when I moved here. I was just like feeling pretty lonely, and of course I was like, oh, if I had someone, I wouldn't have to be alone. And then I met a young wife, and she was so lonely. Like, she was just so lonely. She was pretty new to the community too, and she was just feeling like she was having a hard time with it. She was having the exact same feelings that I was having. And I was like, but you have a husband, so you got nothing to complain about here. And I just started realizing, wait, like, I think as a single person, it's quick for us to also jump into like, well, we're the lonely ones. So, we need more, we need whatever. And that was so insightful for me to have that friendship. Like when we were together, and she's a mother now. And when we were together, it wasn't about like, hey, how you mentioned, Jen, it's like, how's your marriage? How's your motherhood? And her trying to like figure out how she can best be there for me, being I'm single. It was literally, how can I be a friend to you? Like, how can we have fun together? What outings can we go on? What can we do together? And it was just simply about each other. And that literally changed my viewpoint on just the lonely aspect of singleness. And realizing it made me start just counting the blessings of what I have. Like a night like tonight, I wouldn't have necessarily if I was married. And so it just helped me to count my blessings and just open my eyes to realize like we as humanity can have those feelings. And yeah, there's a lot of aspects that come into singleness that can kind of drive it in sometimes, but it doesn't mean that no one else is feeling it. So who can I find outside of just my season that I can relate to and be a friend to? And I don't know, that was like, it was super good friendship to have and really opened my eyes to this whole loneliness aspect of singleness.
Bars.
So good.
It is just nuggets.
Did y'all like study
another mic
beforehand
drop.
on what you're gonna say?
Oh my goodness.
There's gonna be
pros
It was like, y'all spent, y'all
It's like,
spent
you
an
know what
hour
they say
studying?
when you do something for so
Professional
long, you
singles.
get really good at it.
We got this done quick. Why would
Yeah,
we change it
we've got so
now?
much wisdom from being single
So
so
much
long.
experience
So much
that I didn't
experience.
ask for.
That's amazing, guys. Good. Guys, I love the discussion. I think there's a lot of good wisdom, So, if you're friends to us or to single people, maybe just ask the questions. The questions are not bad, but maybe just ask them differently, like, hey, how is the relationship thing going? What have you been through? What's been the journey? Maybe ask that more than, hey, when are you going to get married?
Yeah, care more about
the person than just the outcome. And I don't think anyone's like in ill intention, but maybe just change the question a little bit and ask them. So coming away from that, guys, I got just three or four words to wrap up what we did, but was there any other thoughts? I don't want to cut anyone off from anything else they wanted to say regarding that topic.
I just want to say one last thing. But Cassandra, after you.
I was just gonna say my phone number.
By the
Maybe we should just start a dating site.
We should.
In
We'll
the
sell
interview
sponsor-
podcast.
Yes,
Hey,
yes.
Just for our group.
Right, you can only date
guys,
us.
should we do like a highlight? Like every month, a new one of us is highlighted, and we're just like
Yeah.
all our specs.
Oh my.
And like
yeah.
Our
The
everything
pros
about
and
it.
cons.
5'9", 185 pounds.
Well, let's leave the
blonde.
weight off. But yeah, that's everything else.
If you're giving specs, you got to be real. You just got to be real. Love.
Oh,
my.
that's funny.
The interview
I kinda
podcast
like
might be
that. It
turning
would-
a new leaf, turning a
Because
new
there's
chapter.
probably people out there that would be interested in some of us.
Well, hey, we'll
I mean,
tag.
me and you, Derek, have been on this for 2.5 years. And
We're still single.
ain't nobody. The only
True.
thing they want from us is socks. The merch.
Hey, the merch is gold. It's golden, Jen. It's golden. Hey, we'll link all these people's profiles, and then you can check
Tag
them out
'em.
on your own time, however God leads you. But these are some quality people. I will say that.
is very
high
true.
quality. High quality.
Yeah.
Jen.
Oh, I was
yes.
just gonna say, it's okay. Like for the people that are single, like we always like, oh, look at the bright side of it. Let's see the positives. Let's whatever. It frankly, like, just sometimes stinks. Okay. If I would use the word I don't like, I would say that
Amen.
right now. But like, it's like, and I've been way more honest about that in the last year, because I don't want. You want to kind of say, no, I'm content. I like, this is the season I'm in. I love it. I love being single. Look at all the opportunities I can have. And then you go home and you're like, this is poop. Like, I don't like this. I don't want to go home by myself again. And so I think being honest with yourself of, I really want this. Like, I really
sure.
want a
Yeah,
relationship. I really
absolutely.
would love to be married. That is the desire of my heart. And I'm in the season of trying to learn how to hold two what feels like contradicting emotions at once, contentment and longing at the same time. And I don't really know how to do that super well because it feels like one wants to drown out the other. And, it's almost hard to have them both at once. But for the people that are single and feels like it's been years and years and you're just like, am I ever going to get married? And am I allowed to want this? And does it mean I'm not being content? I'm like, somehow you're able to have both. You're allowed to be content, like be content in the season and be excited for what you have, but be honest that it's okay to want it and be like, why? Did I get missed? Like whatever. So there's times where it just stinks, and learning how to hold those things and ask God to give you like what you need in the peace and to fulfill you, even if you're feeling like you're missing something.
It takes a lot of faith. Like, I feel like, parents who are waiting for children, grandparents who are waiting for grandkids, whatever. Singles waiting for marriage. It takes faith. Believing in God, going through those situationships, being willing to talk to someone even if you've done it before. Just, it takes faith.
Try again.
Try again. And not, getting
too
mad
many
at God.
times.
It takes faith.
Try again, but maybe only once.
Oh my. Oh my. Yeah. That's good. Tony, you got something on the tip of your tongue, or
Yeah, kind of.
Do you?
I mean, I agree. I agree with you, Jen.
But you probably wouldn't be you if you didn't disagree a little.
Yeah, probably not.
Hey, we're here for the different perspectives. Yep.
Yeah, it's good to be honest, and this is going to be ironic coming from me because I tend to be a pessimist.
Are you going to say something positive?
Yeah, I'm going to say
Wait a
something
minute.
hard.
I would say record this.
Okay.
But, yeah,
All right.
but
Well, we are
about
recording it.
positivity. So I think I think that's just a state of humanity in any area you're at, of wanting more. And not that wanting a relationship is perfectly fine and is very normal, and there is time for that. But at the same time, I think it's important to realize that once you do have that relationship and once you're married, you're going to hit a point where you're feeling like there's something more again, and you're going to miss your independence. Like, I think single people forget how much freedom and independence you have as a single person. And like, speaking from coming out of a relationship last year, like there was so much that was really nice about the relationship. It was really nice to feel special to someone and have that companionship. But like, after and even now, like, it can get lonely, but at the same time, like, I realize again how much freedom I have. And like, right now, I feel like I would want to be single for another 5 years, because like it kind of, like, it shifts your focus.
Jen's face, just like, what?
But like,
Right.
2 years ago, I was
Yes.
ready to get married.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so, like, coming out of that, it has a way of shifting your focus, and like, it gave me different vision for my life, and opened my eyes to some things that I want, and that would be a lot easier to accomplish before I'm married. So, yeah, like, it's okay to be honest with where you're at, and that it can be hard being single, but at the same time, I think every stage of life is going to have an element of that. And so a lot of it, I don't know, because there are some single people that I feel really sorry for, because I know they want to be married so bad. But I think a lot of it does have to do with just understanding that as humans, we're always just going to want more. So learning how to be okay with wanting more.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes any sense, but
Yeah.
I feel like
Tracking.
that didn't contradict her too much.
No.
okay.
No, absolutely
No,
not.
I don't think so either. I think it was a good perspective.
I guess I was agreeing,
you guys
but
did
also
it. You worked
adding
it out.
to
Good
it.
job.
Adding to it.
Yeah, you worked it out.
That was so cordial.
Yeah.
I literally came just to hear Tony and Jen disagree, so you're gonna figure that out.
Yeah.
I haven't
I'm not.
dropped any
I'm
puns
gone
yet,
too
so-
much. Like,
wait,
when
I'm
we
waiting
get
for those times.
when we get back together, we're too nice. It's like, because we don't see each other, and we're like, oh hey, we don't have enough time to get into it. I'm
my.
just kidding.
Long.
No, that was a good word, Tony. It's a good word. Great. Guys, anything else? I think that was well covered, well said.
Yeah.
Great. Jen? you
Single
got
or not, here we go.
Single or not, here we are.
But all I know is I only got like 5 good years of childbearing left. So
Jen,
I'm just saying.
God can extend that. Hey,
I ain't
are you
trying to
putting
be
God in
a
a box?
mom when I'm 48. You know,
It's very possible. It's very
happens.
possible.
Okay.
It happens. All right.
just putting that out there.
Do what you got to do.
Well,
all right. Do as the Lord
not.
leads. Right. No.